One group of protesters gathered at Boise City Hall Tuesday night to advocate that Black Lives Matter, as well as calling to defund the police.
We have been raised and told that the police are here to protect us, but what protects us isn't the size of our police budget. It's the fact that we have a safe community, that people in Boise are safe, that we have social services protecting our homeless populations, protecting our minority populations.
Some of the protesters say they aren't against police, but say the city can better spend police funding elsewhere.
The police system itself is built off something we shouldn't be proud to stand for. And if we reallocated even some of that money into like our education or like rehabilitating the homeless or people like mental health services, I feel like Boise would be a better place.
Defunding the police doesn't mean abolishing the police. It just means reallocating an excessive amount of funds, I believe $70 million this year in Boise, Idaho, to more needed social programs.
2468, defund the police state.
But there was another side to be heard Tuesday night.
Back the blue, back the blue.
Waving American and blue line flags, this second group of protesters is against defunding the police.
We do not agree with defunding our law enforcement agencies, especially with a growing community that we have going on right now. Lawlessness, that's my concern. More crime, that's definitely what's going to happen.
Every civilization needs to have rules and regulations in order to function. It's not trying to lead the sheep, but it's to enforce things for their own safety. We don't always agree with the laws, but they're there.
And the police department's equipment is so expensive and paying their salaries, and so that budget cannot be touched. A society without police is not a free society.
The two differing groups made for some tension at City Hall. Verbal arguments, shoving matches, insults, and obscene hand gestures came from both sides of the aisle. Yet many other protesters and police helped keep the peace during the heated moments. In the end, both sides just wanting their opinions heard. Downtown Boise has been pretty quiet for days due to the fact people have been asked to stay home when possible and avoid large groups to prevent the spread of the novel coronavirus. The lack of recent foot traffic has already taken a toll on local businesses.
I feel like a lot of our business is people walking by just looking for a quick snack. So we're definitely seeing less people walking around. It's a little spooky down here right now.
It's really affecting our day-to-day business. We've seen our business drop off at least 70%. At nights, it's really dropped off. What we've done all day today for lunch rush, we usually do in an hour. So we're really slowed down.
But it's not just downtown businesses seeing a drop-off.
Friday was off by a bit, Saturday was off by half, and now we're doing a tenth of our normal business numbers.
Now those businesses and others are taking another hit. On Thursday afternoon, Mayor Lauren McLean announced the closure of city bars and dine-in operations at city restaurants for 30 days.
I do not take this disruption lightly. I recognize that it disrupts our jobs, our lives, the day-to-day activities that we all have.
It'll be devastating for our industry as a whole.
While restaurants can still do takeout and delivery orders, many businesses rely on dine-in customers to stay afloat.
It'll slow down a bit for sure. I mean, especially with the bars being closed too. We're open till morning and 4 a.m. on the weekends, so that's going to cut into our late night business.
Forenza Pizza in downtown has only been open about a year and a half, but owner Dwayne Paris says the way things are looking financially, there's a good chance it has to close its doors until things return to normal, leaving 18 employees without a job.
Major part of our business is dine-in business. We're not a big delivery business. So I'm fearful that with this latest no dine-in that we're going to need to close in the next few days.
Barbacoa has 180 employees and does not offer takeout or delivery. But owner Robert Castoro says they're going to make sure their employees are taken care of, just like they did after a fire destroyed the restaurant in 2010.
That's going to be devastating, but just as we did in the fire, we're going to take care of our people, and whatever the subsidization that they receive, if it winds up short, we're going to make up the difference so that nobody loses their house, their cars.
While times are tough for many people, small businesses say anything the community can do to help could make a difference.
So just, anybody that can help out and buying gift cards and, ordering online and delivery would be a big help to everybody and just help us stay in business and weather this storm.
Many spent Thursday night patiently waiting in near freezing temperatures for a warm meal, a comfy hat, and some good company on Christmas Eve.
No one should have to be alone if they're looking for connection and a meal.
Executive Director at Interfaith Sanctuary, Jody Peterson-Steigers, says after Thanksgiving, thinking about hosting a safe holiday gathering during a pandemic seemed nearly impossible.
We had to regroup after Thanksgiving inside the building. It turned out not to be highly effective, and so we realized we were going to have to do Christmas Eve outside.
A Christmas Eve dinner outside in 30-degree weather during a global pandemic was a task that the shelter never thought they would have to undertake, but did so out of necessity. So Peterson-Steigers put a call out to the community asking for help.
Hey, this is what we need to do now to make sure that Christmas Eve is not stolen from our shelter. This is the help we need. And then it happens, it comes. People are kind of waiting to be a part of it. I think everyone wants to ensure that our most vulnerable population has joy this season.
Local community members and business owners came together to donate outdoor heaters, beanies, and even some extra cash to give to those in need.
The amount of support that this agency has received in every kind of way this year, I've never seen anything like it.
Because no one should have to go hungry or feel alone this holiday season.
Get out of your house, get in front of someone that's not doing as well as you, and it will lift you up.
They actually just wrapped up this vigil about 5 minutes ago. You can see that there are still some people behind me. They're just kind of helping to clean up and wrap things up. They have just come over the speakers asking people to go ahead and go home. They don't want you congregating and staying in those large groups, of course, for safety reasons. So it just wrapped up a couple of minutes ago, but it was an unbelievable crowd here, Mark. Let's actually take a look at some video just to show you how many people were here. There were several thousand people here, just a mass turnout. The Capitol steps were completely filled. The park, surrounding areas also completely filled, and people were spread all across the park, all across the streets. Just an amazing turnout. And the vigil itself, very powerful. They had a few Black speakers who shared their personal experiences, personal tragedies with racism. One woman even spoke about watching an unjust killing happen. While holding candles, they also read off several names of Black Americans who have been unjustly killed. The audience repeated each of those names and then held a brief moment of silence for each one. And again, this vigil tonight, the goal was to honor all Black Americans who have been killed either by fellow citizens or because of police brutality. Now let's take a look at some other video we shot a little bit earlier, right at the beginning as things were getting started. It's a closer look at some of the other things happening tonight. First of all, many people wore black as a sign of solidarity. Some brought signs which had the names and/or photos of Black Americans who have been killed. And then this vigil also sparked other signs of support, such as this sidewalk near the Capitol, where 30 names of Black Americans who have been killed were all listed in chalk, including George Floyd's. And underneath those names are the words "in loving memory" and "rest in peace" underneath each one. Now, this vigil tonight was not put on by any specific group. It was a few local community members. I spoke with the organizer, Whitney, who tells me that she and a few of her friends were upset by what's happening around the country, and they felt that George Floyd's death, it was different somehow, so they wanted to do something. She says there's a time and a place for protesting, but for tonight, they wanted that something different, and they wanted the community to be able to reflect and to mourn.
I'm really looking for a unity in our community and a way for all people of all colors to come together and mourn together and leave and wanting to join and bridge some gaps. We hope that our white allies leave with a greater sense of duty to their brown brothers and sisters, and we hope that people of color like myself feel heard, feel listened to.